packed up all my stuff this week, like when I moved, and I thought I had everything out, but I don't necessarily think I do. Good morning. Sorry about that. I thought, well, I don't have my cards out. I thought that they were in the case there because I moved this weekend. So yeah. Anyway, I thought I had the cards around, but I don't. So I'll have to figure out where I have those. Oh. Sorry, mosquito. I was going to close my door so that my dog, well, for many reasons to close the door, but he's just lying looking out the patio door, and I like him having the ability to just go outside. So you're going to have to let me know how the reception is, and how the stream is, because this is a new place. And with moving to a new place, you're not always certain how good the reception or the internet is going to be. Hello, Beansy. How are you? In my new house, finally. This is the place that I'll be staying in temporarily. I saw your video this morning, and I love when it does that to you, right? When you're just going along and all of a sudden you're helping somebody else. Yeah, this is a temporary place for 3 months. The guy that is renting it is subletting it to me for the 3 months, and then we'll see where I go from there. But at least, I have a space for now anyway. And just staying positive, right? And believing that no matter what, like sometimes, you think, I know there's so many times when I was standing on the precipice of something and I felt like, oh my God, it was going to be bad, right? It's going to, and then you make it out the other side. And when you reflect back on it, yeah, it may not have been ideal, right? TT, it may not have been ideal. Hi, Jenny. Because like, when I think about getting here, right? My mom helped me out, and now my mom's on a pension. So my mom helping me out is like, it seems so crazy, but at the same time, maybe God helped mom so mom could help me. And that's just the way it had to be. And there's nothing wrong with that. But we kind of have a preconception that things are going to happen in a certain way. Like, and I know Beans gets this, right? I show up every day. Every day I show up. Every day I create. Every day I share my truth. Every day I'm putting content out there. Every day I'm putting my, my knowledge, my truth, my healing, my energy. I'm giving it out to the world. And you show up regardless. And even when, the financial exchange isn't there, even when like you're sitting there and you're like, I don't even know how I'm gonna feed myself this month, right? You still show up. And I think it's hard because not that I think that there's so many individuals in the world who are content with staying in the comfort zone. They don't want to do the work. They don't want to face their shadow. They don't want to, like, every single live that I do. So I have several membership groups, and this is not, but anyway, this is not a sales thing about it, but I have several membership groups. And one of the membership groups I have is completely free. You just go sign up on my website, free, absolutely free. And every single live that I do, I create a journal that is a companion to the live. And I cannot believe the number of people who are not taking advantage of that. But at the same time, people actually have to want to change. And while they want to change, we've been sold this idea that it can be immediate. If you can find it in a pill. If you don't like it, you can go and get a surgery and just get it changed, right? So there's something that's out there, and the notion is that it's so quick, right? I know I can't give free stuff away. You're just like, how come people won't take it for free? I was letting, this is how, so I have my healing program, and now my healing program, I used to have the cost that was assigned to that was $1,000 for this 6 week or 3 months, 3-month course that would help you navigate through your trauma and get yourself to a space of a healthy life and go through tons of stuff. And I remember offering that as a donation thing, right? And with the donation thing, people like it. Anyway, I'm like just baffled by it, that you can give things away for free. I had a sacred union course that I did. It was a webinar for an hour and a half talking about the divine feminine, the divine masculine, some of the distortions that we've had. This beautiful, beautiful free course, like for an hour and a half. And it actually probably went a little bit longer than that. And I know the people that attended it were like amazing, but people wouldn't sign up for it. And it's like, it's free. It's free. And there's not like a heavy, heavy sales thing, right? Now I know I'm exactly right. But that's because people, unfortunately, there's a lot of free in the world, and free doesn't mean good. Free definitely does not mean good. But there is a lot of free stuff out in the world, and that's, and like I said, people are content with staying where they are. People are absolutely content with staying in the comfort zone. And sometimes it's because we're so focused on survival that we're not thinking about growth or expansion or change or healing or any of that. And those of us that have been through it and did the work, we're standing on the other side of that gap. And we're like, come on. Like, it's so much better over here. It's so much better over here. You feel better. You're healthier. Come. And they just can't, right? And so it's speaking to that spot in them is the challenge, is speaking to the spot in people that think that somebody out there is going to save them or fix them, and then the other part is that there's some immediate cure that's going to happen overnight. And I think some people do think that it's going to be a lot of work. And that is also something that will hold up people from doing it, because they think, oh my God, it's a mountain, right? There's a mosquito. I'm trying to find him. I'm on a war against mosquitoes. No one's coming to save you. Nobody is. People think that there's, if you go into the religious aspect of it, there's the concept of the second coming of Christ, and, and it's actually Christ, hello, multidimensional news. The second coming of Christ, of Jesus Christ. And the thing is that's not what is happening. Right now, we are seeing evidence of Antichrist everywhere. Everywhere. It's all around us. It's in pornography. It's in killing. It's in, it's in all kinds of different spots in society. And that is anti to the way that you're supposed to live. We are not meant to live like this. We are meant to live in so much different of a way, but this way that we would live, it wouldn't serve the people that are making money off of us living the way that we are. So everybody making money off of you staying where you are, staying weak, staying blinded, and staying in all those spaces. Instead of you being confident, or if you're lacking confidence, think of the things that they can sell you for that lack of confidence, right? Lack of confidence. They can sell you all kinds of clothes. They can sell you beauty products. They can sell you, they can sell you, what are they called? The people, the surgeons, plastic surgery. There we go. I was like, what do they call that when you do like the fake stuff to yourself? plastic surgery, right? They can sell you all of these things because of that lack of confidence. If you feel like you're a victim, you're in a very much in a lower state of resonance where they can sell you a whole bunch of stuff. They can sell you so many things to that fact because you're looking outside of yourself for someone to save you and giving up your sovereignty in the process. Oh yeah, every place is like that. The world is corrupt when there are people who have more money than what they could ever spend in their lifetime or somebody else's lifetime, their children's lifetime. They will never spend that much money, and yet people are starving. That it's a corrupt world when, if it meant they wouldn't be able to make money off of it, they'd rather throw it out than give it to somebody. They're like restaurants at the end of the day. It used to bother me to no end. At the end of the day, you just throw all the donuts. And I worked in a coffee, and I'm thinking about, working in restaurants and stuff like that. But specifically in my, when I was 16, I was working in donut shops, and at the end, you just pitch all the donuts. And meanwhile, there could be a person outside that's begging for change. And you're like, I could just go give them this stuff. Right. But I can't be bothered to go and give someone free food. I got fired one time because a guy was begging for food and money and to have tea and stuff like that. And so yeah, I got in trouble because I gave him stuff. And then I got fired. And that's okay. Yeah, because it's just, I think that if you care more about profits than you do about basic human decency, right? That's just ridiculous. Yeah, he had schizophrenia, and people were afraid of him because of that, but I wasn't bothered by that at all. Good morning, Divine Rising. Today we're going to talk about the cosmic womb, or the womb of the world, and how that's what a matrix is, right? A matrix is a womb, and we have several different womb spaces that we experience in the sense of our mother's womb as we're being birthed into the world, and then being in this womb of the world. So we're going to talk about that stuff. Good morning. How are you doing, Tammy? How are you? I don't know what it is with my tea bag, but it always has to navigate to where my mouth is. It's always got to find its way to the spot where I'm drinking. All righty. What are you doing, Cass? I thought I heard him getting up and moving. You're cold. It's actually nice here today. Yesterday was quite cold. It was very overcast and raining. Buenos dias, Morici. ¿Cómo está? It was very beautiful, just beautiful here today. It's sunny, and it looks like it's going to be a really nice day. But it was quite cold yesterday, damp and just chilly. So I'm glad it's like it is today. It'll be quite nice. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And there is a companion journal to this in the free group Temple of Light on my website. I love it. The first night I went to bed, by the time I went to bed on Saturday night, I was just I was in that much of a happy mood. I absolutely love it. It is the perfect place for me and Cass. It actually, it's perfect for us. I can't think of anything that I don't like, or that is a bother, or that is an annoyance, or that is nothing. I've even found some good spaces to walk to. I can take Cass for a 4-kilometer round trip. So it's 2 kilometers each way, to take him to a pond so he can go swimming. And then I can also take him just near us. There's the side road. And if I walk along the side road, then it's not as busy with traffic, right? Because this main road here is quite busy at times. It's okay to walk on it though, because it's got a large side of the road. There's a large egress off the road. So, you know, it's okay to walk on it, but it's still like there's a lot of traffic, and sometimes the traffic is going really fast, and it's like the wind that goes by and you're getting, you know, dust thrown in your face. But beside that, so I can go down the side road, and the side road I can walk all the way down to a point where it actually branches off. And in Ontario, and I think they do it in many places, but anyway, along where the hydro lines run, there's oftentimes trails that are created there that people drive like quads and bikes on, and that's what's up there. So there's a whole bunch of trails that are at the end of the dead end road that's nearby. So I can walk them up into there if I just want to take them on some trails. And then he's got the whole backyard, and I could actually chuck it for him. Like I can chuck the ball for him and stuff like that. So it's been great. I have seen my productivity decrease because when I sit where I have my computer all set up, I have a beautiful window that's pretty much floor to ceiling right here that I look out and I see all the movement going by. So I get to see so much green, and even the patio door is directly there. So when I look that way, I'm seeing just green, which is just fantastic. And I've seen bunnies. This morning I woke up to a fox being outside, all kinds of birds, and obviously squirrels and chipmunks and stuff like that. So it's just been amazing. The water is well water. It's great well water. It's just straight from the tap. You can drink it, which that makes me so happy. There's so much about it that I love. Clean water, a nice quiet space besides the traffic, And so it's just amazing. And this isn't, you know, it didn't come together the way that I thought it would come together, but it came together. So I still was taken care of. And so it's so weird. You know, you can make all the plans, you can have all the thoughts, you can all that you want, but at the end of the day, it happens the way that it happens. And sometimes it happens even better. Right? Like I remember, you know, I was staying with my mom, waiting to get to a point where I had the finances that I could be independent, because after everything that I went through and, you know, all the growth, it's working through your own stuff, right? I was the same as you, Beanie. I had this idea that people were poor. I had the idea that people were struggling. I had the idea in my mind that people who need the most help when it comes to mental health and trauma and stuff like that were people that were disenfranchised or who were low income and stuff like that. And while that is true, that is true, I've come to realize that very, very much that trauma literally happens to everybody, regardless of how much money you have. And there are a lot of people out there who have a lot of money that are looking for exactly what you and I have. And I also, you know, it's one of those weird things where if you put a really low price on things, people devalue it because of the way that we've had our stuff all twisted in society. Hi, Granny. How that we've had everything twisted in society. So, you know, like somebody would be looking at two different purses and they think, well, I'm going to pay $5,000 for the Birkin versus, and I don't even know if that's the cost of those things. I don't buy that stuff. You know, I'm going to spend a lot of money on this thing versus, you know, say $100 on that. And $100 is still, to me personally, a lot of money for a purse. But they would think that the $5,000 purse is higher quality, better materials, better workmanship, better all across the board. But what we know in society is that most of those things are actually not that way, right? It's not that they think that it's not that the $5,000 is worth more. I mean, half the times the companies that have a $5,000 bag are using sweatshops and slave labor, or they're not paying their employees any more than the shop that's making their purse and selling it for $100, and their overhead's like $10. But because that's the way the mentality is, where they think that the higher the price, the more value that they're getting. So when you raise your prices, and for me, I don't raise my prices beyond what they are what they should be. When I work with ChatGPT and looking at, you know, pricing things, because ChatGPT can check around the world, and it can give me a very logical and a very fair assessment of, if I provide this in my group, how much should I charge for that, right? And I'm going to get you. So I check and the prices, and it'll come back and it'll say, like, my Sacred Union course, initially it was like it was like $144 American is what I should have charged for this 3-day course that I was doing. So I thought, self, you're putting it together really quickly. You're not giving a lot of time to fill the course. So even though it's worth $144 American, I'm going to offer it for 88 Canadian, which I think would be like 66 American. So like I went even less than half off what was suggested for the course. And then I ended up having to postpone it. So I've decided to change the price, though. I decided to put it back to where it should be. And I'm going to release it for the end of the month instead. And, it's time that you start valuing yourself, valuing what you're bringing to the table, and asking for the price of what you're worth. This isn't about gouging, and this isn't, and it isn't about any of that. But I know people who get it for free don't oftentimes appreciate what you've done for free. I don't know how many people sign up for a free course and then don't attend it. Why? Because they didn't pay anything. So if they miss out on it, no big deal. Don't have to worry about losing any money, right? So when you have to pay for something, then you've put that money in. So you have skin in the game, is how it is, right? Yeah. Beautiful. Beautiful. Right. And that's just, I have so many hi Craig. I have so many mosquito bites, guys. Like, that is the one thing. I have not been around mosquitoes a lot. But this, like, coming here, oh my goodness, I was just getting attacked. So I have a lot of mosquito bites. You can do, I can't remember what all the stuff is, lavender and tea tree oil. And what else would be a good oil for, or something good to make something for your... Oh yeah. Yeah. So there's a reason for that, right? If they're making a lot of noise so that you can't do recordings, then there's something else that you need to be focused on. And that's what that interruption is for, so that you can refocus your energy on something that needs care. Citronella. Yeah. Carol's like, I'm on it. I got it. So there's quite a few, like, herbs, essential oils that you can use for the mosquito bites. So I take castor oil as the base, and then I add lavender, tea tree oil. I think frankincense is one, and there's one more, and I don't think it's as a carrier oil. Thank you. As the carrier oil. So lavender, tea tree oil, frankincense, there's something else. I'll look at what it is, but then you put them on the bite, and it does things to reduce the inflammation and everything else. Might be lemongrass. Yeah. Hi, Jer Bear. So yeah, I'm actually, in the future, I will have an apothecary with a whole line of holistic things. It all started with shampoo, to be fair. Hi, no wonder, right? So, but that's something that's in the works for when the resources are there, because you have to get all the supplies to create the stuff. But that is on my list of things to do, which is awesome. So I keep putting the information out there so that it drives the interest in it, for sure. I love to do things holistically and make things that are much healthier for you. Right? But that are much healthier for you. Thinning is usually a symptom of stress. Typically, you can look at your diet, because there may be things that you're lacking in your diet to support the hair growth. But oftentimes, thinning can be related to, I dealt with it too, Tammy. I've dealt with a lot of, there's hormonal reasons, but one of the reasons is during times of stress. I got him. Told you I was going to get you. You didn't believe me. Did not believe me, but yet here we are. Hi, Jer Bear. How are you doing today? How's everybody doing today? We're gonna talk about our womb of the world. The womb of the world. Is the reception good though? There's no lagging or anything that's showing up? Because with the new place, you never know. Every now and then I get what looks like a little dip on the stream that I have for YouTube. So I wasn't sure because right now it's showing my StreamYard one is having like a lower signal. It doesn't seem to be doing anything though. So good. Alrighty. So I'm gonna have a sip of tea because you know how I like it. Look at guys. Remember this cup? I pulled it out of storage. So we're not having tea. We're having tea in our Stay Wild Moonchild, which is fitting because tomorrow's a full moon. And tomorrow's full moon is actually in, when you look at the true sidereal, which is actually the placement of the planets based on all the categories, all the longitude, like all of it. Whereas the tropical looks at every month it's in this sign, and and in every it just follows a calendar, right? Like a schedule like that. But the sun, like the moon, isn't actually in Sagittarius right now. The moon is actually in Virgo on the cusp of Libra. It's on the cusp of Virgo and Libra, and that's where the full moon will reside. So the information that I'm sharing in some of my content is going to point to that. Like if you're a part of the Ascension Gateway, in the Guardian Pathway membership groups, then I talk in those groups very much with what the true placement is, not tropical zodiac. Right. So if you looked at your true sidereal for your zodiac signs, it would probably bump you one sign back based on where the true planets were aligned at the time of your birth. So if you're interested in that, you can go online and you can go online and put in true sidereal, and I say side rail because that makes it easy to know how to spell it. It's SIDE and then RAIL. That's sidereal. So this is the true astrology, right? This isn't based on January, February, March. It's based on where the planets reside in the sky at the time of such things. So this true celestial alignment is what I go by. And the true celestial alignment, like I said, at this time, we'll see the full moon being in the cusp of Virgo and Libra, which is beautiful because of what they represent versus what Sagittarius would have represented. So I'll give you the clarity on that. Yeah, I do based on true. So all the stuff that I do is Christic and TT. And when I mean Christic, I mean with a KRYSTIC. So Christic. And what it is to me, it's the true way that us as soul beings, as light beings are meant to live. It's the true laws of the universe. It's the true information of the universe. And I am a truth seeker and talk truth. That's all I talk is truth. So I do full readings that are your true astrological readings. And what I mean by that is that I also tell you the truth about the planets, because remember, all of this stuff has been hijacked. Everything has been, anything that can be corrupted or manipulated or distorted or lied about, that, in order to keep us controlled, or to keep us paying money, to keep our attention. All of those things have been distorted. It keeps us just off center. It keeps us out of alignment. It keeps us looking outside of ourselves, right? It keeps us doing those things. Because the last thing they want is for us to remember who we are and what we're capable of and how we're meant to live, and also what they're doing, right? They don't want us to know the truth. In that one saying, like, you can't handle the truth, right? That's what is partly true. If you looked at, if we pulled the veil completely back all in one, right? many people wouldn't be able to handle it. The cognitive dissonance that they would experience would literally fracture their reality, and they would lose their minds. They would not be able to handle all the truth all at once, which is why the awakening has to be paced, right? I can't just talk about everything that I know in every single situation that I'm in, because not everybody is able to handle the information at this time. How do I know the truth? Because I know the truth. I just feel it. I know it. It's in my body. It's in my blood. It's in my bones. It's a feeling. It's a knowing. It's easy to find the fake in the world because the fake is paid for. Oh, that's weird. I don't know what's calling, but somehow I'm getting a phone call, or I'm getting a buzzard, or oh, my son's calling me. I have to send him a message. The truth has a different resonance, right? The truth has a different resonance to it, right? And I don't know why it won't let me. Anyway, it's telling me there's no filtered comments, right? Throw them on. See what my son said. Anyway, he's good. He's good. He's good. Did you stick around? Are you still there? Are you still there, Dolly? She must not be there because it's the comments gone. The wings. Right? How do you know the truth? How do you know what's the truth? If I ask that question to you guys, how do you know that it's the truth? Right? Now, the truth does not feel constricting. The truth does not feel, oh, okay, perfect, thank you. Right? The truth does not scare you. The truth does not cause anxiety or confusion or make you feel like foggy. The truth is expansive. It's grounded. It feels calm, peaceful, deep. It resonates. The truth is, to me, that's how I know it's the truth, because it resonates with me. It rings like a bell as opposed to noise, like static. But that's me. That's how I feel it. That's how I sense it and feel it, right? All righty. So that was the one note that I had to make, is that the Sacred Union course that I was holding for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday got moved till the end of the month. I'll give you the exact dates coming up, but it is a beautiful, beautiful course. You get lots and lots of handouts and guides and activations and all of that stuff. So if you're in a position to take part of that or take advantage of that, definitely do so, because it is going to be a little bit cheaper than what I should be charging for it this time, but next time it won't. It will be the full price. So today, in the episode that I have scheduled for today, we're going to talk about Womb of the World. And this is all about reclaiming the waters of creation. So the theme is all about reconnecting to the cosmic womb, the divine feminine waters. Ooh. Source of soul emergence. And the celestial influence is the waxing moon. And in this case here, because it's the live, and like I said, when I'm doing my group stuff, I very much put the stuff out, and it is in true sidereal. And if I'm talking about anything to do with the moon in that way, but for right now, I'm just saying that it's, we're in, we would be in the Virgo space. But anyway, so we'll look at that. So today the waters remember you. And remember, water is living, right? And this is where people sometimes have a misunderstanding, because we don't recognize the truth of the things out there. We look at water as something that maybe we drink or that we clean things with, or we look at water as, a resource, but we don't look at water in the true way that water is, right? When we look at water as a sentient being, water has memory, water is so incredibly powerful. And if we work with it in the same way, whereas as opposed to I'm just drinking my water, I speak into my water all the time. I make structured water. So the structured water that I make is, one, it has to be clean, filtered water or pure water. In this case here, my tap water. And when I put a little bit of Celtic sea salt, a quarter of a lemon and a quarter of a lime in it, I sit it in the sun to charge it for 30 minutes. I move it in a clockwise direction. So, creating a vortex within the bottle or within the jar. And then I speak words into it. And I also send light into it through my hands and through through channeling it. And I send divine light from prime source into my water, giving it everything that I need so I can be healthy. Oh, that's so cute. The flowers. Oh my goodness. So cute. So I'll do a video on that, on creating the water like that, to purify it, to cleanse it, and to structure it is what it's called. It's called structured water. But water does have memory, and they've proved that in other ways where, and it also has sentience. And the reason why they're saying that there's sentience with it is because of the simple fact that this lady was taking water and she would put it over top of a seed and then freeze it. And the image that would appear in water would be the thing, that's so cute, would be the thing that that seed was going to grow into. So she put it on a sunflower seed. The image that came up in the frozen water was the image of a sunflower in bloom. So the water understood from reading the seed, from being put over top of the seed, what that seed was going to become, proving that it has a level of consciousness to it. It has a level of awareness in water. And so we know this from tests that they're doing, right? So this isn't some, woo-woo thought process. This is something that's been tested and revealed over and over and over again. Same thing when you speak into water, and a Japanese man had started speaking into water and freezing it, doing the same thing. And when they froze water that had love, wisdom, God, things like that spoken into it, the water created in the frozen images beautiful fractals and, sacred geometry shapes. When you speak things like hate and evil and, other stuff like that into the water, it would create just disorienting patterns. They were just like chaotic. Having no real pattern to them. So another way that water, through scientific or through consistent testing, right? So for all of those people that are naysayers, there are studies that are being done that prove these facts, that water has memory and that water has at least a level of consciousness to understand that a sunflower seed becomes a sunflower, that a flax seed becomes flax, that because these are some of the other images that it happened with. So you're not separate from the seed that birthed you. When we think about we are all one and the law of one, you're never separate from that, right? You're never separate from source, and you're never separate from the waters that birthed you. So the pulse that once stirred in the ocean tide, the pulse what once stirred in the oceans stirs within your bones. Good morning, Keita, and hello, Elizabeth. Right. So this is that vessel of remembrance, and this is our tide returning home. So the womb is not merely a space. It is the source encoded in form. So let the waters within rise to meet the flow of life that knows how to birth truth, wholeness, and self. Good morning. Oh, I hope you have a beautiful, beautiful day at work, love. Beautiful day. So the womb is not a metaphor. It is a living technology of divine creation, right? So we don't, in this, like in the world that we're in, because we've disconnected ourselves from source, we look at the womb as being a birthing chamber, maybe. We look at the womb as being the uterus, right? We don't look at the womb as being a divine creation, or that it's an original matrix of harmonic design, that it is crystalline architecture encoded with divine intelligence. Like the womb is an amazing thing. Like it's not as third dimensional as we give it, right? And neither are we. We think of ourselves as being, more physical, but we are actually more energetic. And the same thing with the womb. So it holds the frequency of birthing life from truth, not distortion. Over eons, however, the sacred space has been infiltrated by artificial imprints like grids of control, sacrifice, and suffering. And these matrices rewrote the story of creation into one of shame, depletion, or subjugation. And many of us carry this distortion in the form of a suppressed voice, creative fear, sexual trauma, or chronic disconnection from the body. There's a little robin down there. It was so nice to see the fox this morning sitting there. I had a little conversation with him. He was really, really, really cute. And I didn't let Cass go outside, keep the fox safe, because I don't know what Cass would do. I don't know. Maybe they would hang out. Maybe that's how I get a pet fox, is I let my dog befriend him. He was very cute. I'll show you a picture of him, actually. Sidetrack. Well, who has ADHD? See him? Just a little cute little fox. For those on. So that was what greeted me this morning when I came and looked out my window. All right, so the teaching that I'm going to give you today, or talk to you today, is to dismantle those embedded illusions. So it's going to return the womb space as a sovereign stargate, a place of divine remembrance and renewal. So whether you carry a physical womb or not, the creative field within you is encoded with this sacred potential. The womb of the world is like to reclaim the womb of the world. Right. To reclaim the womb of the world is to restore your relationship with source through felt safety in inner waters, to reweave your creative life force with joy, trust, and divine creation or co-creation, right? And to untangle from the collective grids that framed your power as a threat. We know they're scared of our power. The false grid is dissolving. Right? It is. It's dissolving. We're seeing it crumble. Look at all the truths that are coming forward nowadays, right? Look at all the stuff that's happening. Right now in LA, they've got these riots going on because of I see the ease, right? You know what I'm saying? But they also have ads on Craigslist asking for gentlemen who to come, like for the very purpose of creating violence within them. So people will be will be doing things peacefully, and they will install these paid actors to go and do the damage, and then claim that that is not peaceful. And then the army can come in and go, now we're going to put you under law. And that's what's happening in LA. But the funny thing is it's being talked about now. If this had happened years and years and years ago, we wouldn't have had that. We wouldn't have had people going, hey, look at this Craigslist ad that I found, and reading the details of it and sharing it online and having it be shared around to other people. Right? But now it is. So now we're like, ooh, some of us are still blinded to it. Right? More and more people are talking about, like in the UK now, they're talking about blocking the sun. There's, in Florida, they're talking about banning geoengineering and cloud seeding. You have people talking more openly about the cloud seeding activities that they're a part of. So these truths that are coming forward, although they create friction or they can create conflict, we need them to happen so that the false can crumble, so that we can recreate the true, or that we can build a world that is based on the truth of how we're meant to live. So within this cosmic womb, the new realities are being birthed, not and through us. We're birthing them, right? It's the same thing with where's the second coming of Christ? The second coming of Christ is right here in me, in you, in you, in you, and anyone that is in the pursuit of the truth. That is the one that is aligning with what is true. That is pulling the veil back. That is not allowing those, is calling in their sovereignty. Like all of those things are what allow you to receive through you that truth, the source divine reality, right? That allows to bring and crumble that grid, right? That's how we bring it through. So the original womb of the world was seeded with crystalline purity and harmonic intention. And over time, these distortions were embedded in false templates that associated creation only with pain, sacrifice, or servitude, right? When you think about how many of us, the starving artist, right? What is art but creation? So if you're told that, seated in your mind, that the artist is starving, then that becomes your belief system, and you inherently won't go and do something that's creative, because in order to pursue something that fills you full of joy, is going to relate in starving. You're just going to end up translating into starving, because that's what they have seeded as a belief system, even though it's not true. And we found that because it's, what is that, Beanie? If you're still here, I'm pretty sure Beanie's episode talked about the law of assumption, right? The law of assumption, that if I assume that everything is going to be challenging, or if I assume that in order to be an artist, I'm going to be starving, then that will resonate in my field. That will be the bell that rings, that brings things to me, right? So if you think about resonance like a dinner bell, and when you ring that bell, you're calling supper to you, right? And so what bell are you ringing? Are you ringing a bell that says, I think that the world is a scary place, or I'm a victim, or I have no power, I am starving, people are poor, there's no money, I'm meant to be, blah, 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 blah. Is that the bell that you're ringing in your life? Because the bell is being rung by your thoughts, your feelings, your beliefs, and the actions that you take. Because if your thoughts are fearful and your belief system is that the world is scary and you're feeling fear in your body, you're going to be taking very small, if steps at all, right? You're going to be very contracted in your life. You're not going to take risks. You're not going to take chances. You're not going to make changes, because what would be the point? The world's a scary place and you have no control. Right? So this is where you have to step into that spot of taking your sovereignty back, right? And taking that power back to you. So the distortions, or many of us carry wounds, right? We carry inherited wounds and distortion. And these are residues of things like religious shame, patriarchal silence, and generational grief. And we carry that in our womb or hara. And the hara is the male's womb space. We all have a womb space, not that all of us can birth a life, but you can birth life to things as a man. In creation, everything that you're creating, birthing ideas, that is still through your womb space, through the sacral chakra, and through your feminine energy, right? It's the birthing. And we all have that energy within us and the energy field within us. So regardless, it's called the hara as opposed to the womb for men. Good morning. Good morning. How are you, love? So many carry that residue in their womb field. So we're going to talk about this, and we're going to restore awareness of the womb as a sovereign portal of divine creation, not limited by physical form or identity, but as the universal wellspring of source expression. Right? So it is the frequency of wholeness, returning to self through embodiment, through remembrance, right? So first you figure out you learn the truth. And once you learn the truth, you have to embody it, right? And what I mean by that is many of us will learn the truth in things like, stories are coming out like, did you hear that Putin talked about Soylent Green? And this is all for entertainment purposes. I mean, Putin was talking about it. So, I'm just talking about what Putin was talking about, and that's that. But Putin was talking about Soylent Green, and that is true. That is absolutely true, right? And there's been lots of stories that have come out about how they did testing on takeout food, like on fast food, and found, so much of it contained DNA, like human DNA. So that's out there. The information is out there. So if you choose to continue to eat fast food, you're choosing to disregard the truth and live within the false and allow yourself to keep doing that, right? So this is where embodiment is necessary. If you know something's false and you continue to do that, then you are, through conscious awareness of that, making a choice to say, I'm going to go and keep doing that, right? So if you found out that KFC had human meat in it, or if you found out that, McDonald's did, and then you went and continued to eat McDonald's, you're saying to yourself, I'm okay with eating human meat. I'm agreeing to this because I know the truth now. Right? It's all about embodiment at the end of the day. Remember and then embody the truth and keep the truth and keep bringing the truth to the world. People get frustrated with me now because I say things like, I know, and I'm not willing to back down on the knowing. I know God exists, and God for me is prime source of all creation, the embodiment of love and truth. And there's laws, there's universal laws. And I know that. And people could tell me anything they wanted. They could tell me anything. It's not going to make my viewpoint. It's not going to make me change because it's my knowing, and I know that. And if I say I know, that does not mean that you don't. If your knowing is different, that's your knowing. That's yours, not mine, yours. And if your knowing is different than my knowing, unless I'm willing to change my knowing is going to stay the same. It's only if I choose to change it. Does that mean that I'm not capable of making mistakes or learning something? No, I learn things all the time. All the time, I'm learning something new or expanding my awareness. And when I do, then I adopt the new, right? And that's just the way it is. But you have to be more secure in yourself and in what you know, and embody the truth that you're embodying. Right? So through the sacred power to generate new life in art, through love and reality itself. So we're going to do a little practice here, and just give me 1 second because I got to pull up my little practice so I know everything that I want to do, because there's a couple of affirmations. There we go. There's a couple of things to say. All right. So your womb is the lower belly, right? So below the belly button, and you can sit down or you can lie down if you want. And you are putting your hands on your lower belly. For men, this is your hara, or the creative center. For women, womb space. And we need to keep these words alive, right? Using the womb. Womb is a very energetically charged word, right? Everything has frequency. The words we use are important. They have value. It's in the frequency and the resonance when they're spoken, when they're heard. So it's important to keep using those. So the womb or hara, depending on whether or not you're male or female, and it's your creative center. So we're going to inhale through our nose, and we're going to be calling and inhaling through the nose. You're going to say in your mind, I call back my sacred waters. And as you exhale through the mouth, you're going to say, I dissolve all imposed shame. This is powerful, guys. And we're going to do 7 of these with a gentle rocking motion. Now, when you're rocking and holding your womb, you can rock like side to side. You can rock forwards and backwards, whatever works for you. This is just a gentle little rocking, holding your womb with your hands, inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the mouth. And we're going to do 7 of these. Okay, so let's begin in through the nose. I call back my sacred waters. Exhale through the mouth. I dissolve all imposed shame. I call back my sacred waters. I dissolve all imposed shame. I call back my sacred waters. I dissolve all imposed shame. Oh, Hang on. I have to do a puzzle. How to get the puzzle. All right. Inhale through the nose. I call back my sacred waters. Exhale through the mouth. I dissolve all imposed shame. I call back my sacred waters. I dissolve all shame. I call back my sacred waters. I dissolve all imposed shame. I call back my sacred waters. I dissolve all imposed shame. Now I want you to visualize a golden rose blooming within your womb or hara space. So where your hands are. This beautiful golden rose blooming. And now you're going to repeat out loud, I am the vessel of pure creation. My body remembers. My soul flows. Now take your hand, one hand, and put it over your heart while leaving the other hand on your womb to simultaneously seal, like at the same time, to seal this practice. Okay. Beautiful. So I'm going to do some questions and answers stuff because there can be definitely some questions around womb of the world. One of the questions that oftentimes get asked is because what if I don't identify as female? And this isn't about identity, right? This practice connects to the creative center in all beings, which is the hara space. So whether you identify as female, you are female, you have a womb, you don't have a womb. I had a hysterectomy, so I don't have a womb, but I have a womb space, and that womb space is the hara. So it's a creative center that's in all beings. Hi, Jessica, and hi, Zandrian. Womb wisdom transcends gender. It is the frequency of source creation that lives in every soul. So it's much further beyond just being, the birthing chamber, so to speak, right? It's more than that. It's not just the uterus, it's an energetic space as well. So why do I feel blocked when I try to create or express ourselves? Well, the reason why that happens is because many of us are unconsciously linked to distortion grids that tie creativity to depletion, shame, or performance. And think how many of us have that, where you draw that. I just love those stars; they're so cute. Like, how many times do you think that, like, I didn't draw a lot because I would be like, well, I can't make it like that. I couldn't sell that. Like, nobody would like that. Nobody would buy that. Right. So immediately right there, I've turned my creation into a performance thing, that it is based on a return of finances. So, but that's not what we're supposed to be creating for, right? Money is not a truth to us as spiritual and as a light being, right? Money is not a function of our soul. Money is something that was seeded in the world as a tool of control. It's an illusion. They routinely make more money, and they apparently we can be more money in debt than we have money in society. Like stuff like it's a farce. Right. And it's a mechanism of control. So for us to degrade something that is absolutely divine, which is our creative nature, and tie it to something that's a complete illusion like money, that is one of the disconnects that happen. So it's when we reclaim our innocence and the power of creation that has nothing to do with money, or we can move beyond the shame that has been seeded or the depletion that comes, right? The idea of lack or of giving from ourselves to not have a return come back because there's some mechanism of creating for outside of you, not creating sheerly because it's in you to create. So reclaiming the innocence and power of creation requires cleansing and clearing these grids and choosing new sovereign blueprints. How do I know if I carry ancestral womb trauma or creative suppression? Signs include fear of being seen, overgiving, huge one, burnout cycles, difficulty manifesting joyfully, or emotional disconnect from the lower body. These are invitations to heal. They're not flaws. So there are lots of things that you can do to heal in that, besides aligning to the true grids and reclaiming your sovereignty. You can do some journal prompts that will help you get to the root of why you think the way that you do or feel the way that you do, or why you have these distorted belief systems that have been inherited, or what is the block that's there. So definitely go and grab the journal, companion journal that goes along with this this episode. That's available in my free group on my website called Temple of Light. So it's on Anshara'El.com. Temple of Light is the group, and it's in the Enter the Temple space. So go join the temple and get these free guides that I create for every live, because they are going to help you move through whatever it is that I'm talking about. It's going to help you to integrate these words even more. And if you're hanging out with me, then you should be here because you actually want to do the work, the practical parts of everything, so that you can move beyond the healing, right? You want to move beyond whatever it is that's keeping you stuck. Whatever it's that's keeping you trapped, the distortions and the lies and the there. And the website is linked in my profile. So the invitation to heal, then they're not flaws. Other ways that you can heal or work on energy within the womb space, especially the disconnection of to the body and the lower space, doing things like somatic practices, and yoga, specifically hip openers, are really, really powerful tool to move the distortions or the energies that's trapped within that womb space. So look into doing those types of things. Tapping is another thing to help disrupt energy. Allowing yourself not to feel like you have to do it, allowing yourself to move from the space of I want to do it, and looking at creating for me, not for you. And I do these things for me. And most of us do keep ourselves honest by doing all of the stuff. So can I do this practice if I've experienced womb-related medical procedures like hysterectomy, endometriosis, or fertility treatments? Absolutely, beloved, you can. Absolutely. Because the energy body remembers what the physical may forget, right? This Rite works with your energetic womb template, which is why it's regardless of gender or what you identify or whether you've had a hysterectomy, because it's the energetic womb template that exists within all of us, and honoring all stages and stories of our journey. Another question, I feel numb when I try to connect to my womb or creative center. What does that mean? Well, numbness is often a protective response. Your body is very wise. When we were children, or any one of us that experienced a sexual trauma, we most often disconnected from our physical body. We separated into compartments and compartmentalized portions of what we experienced, because to have experienced all of it all at once would have fractured us, like it would have fractured our souls. So out of a protection, our body said, I'm going to take this bit and store it, and the emotions, I'm going to take that, and the spirit, I'm going to take this, and it separated across, and the mental, I'm going to take this. So we send it to all the energetic, across the energetic bodies. And you have a beautiful day. Love you, honey. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. So these, I lost my train of thought with that. If I'm channeling, it's pretty easy to pump the thoughts like out of my head, like compartmentalizing. We're talking about compartmentalizing into the different energy bodies. Compartmentalizing into the different energy bodies. Perfect. We're getting back there. We're pulling the thread. I'm going to have a sip of tea. Okay. Your body's wise. So when we heal, we remove from those different areas, right? So part of it can be a mental exercise. Part of it can be an emotional release, right? Using water or other practices to work through the stuff that's stored within the emotional body. With the spiritual body, it's about alignment and remembering. With the physical body, again, that could be doing those somatic practices. So there's different ways that you can do that. And this practice here that we did today, it isn't about forcing sensation. It's gently inviting over time through breath, sound, and presence for yourself to reconnect to that space, right? It's a gentle practice. So again, another one about that I would get talked about within the womb stuff is how can men or masculine beings engage with this rite? And it's by connecting to the hara, which is again below the navel. It's the seat of creation and life force. These practices help dissolve the illusion that only women birth, because you can birth ideas, you can birth healing, and you can birth light. And that's available to everybody, regardless of gender or how you identify. One of the things we have to be careful with identity is that the more that we identify, the more labels that we assume to ourselves. So if I say I'm neurospicy, right? If I say I'm neurospicy, then there's a frame that I've put myself in for being neurospicy. If I call myself, a woman, well, that's those language, they have a little bit more energetic resonance to them. If I identify as being Canadian, well, what does it mean to be Canadian? If I identify as middle-aged, what would that be? What does middle-aged mean, right? So, and if I identify as white, what does that mean? And every identity, every label that we apply to ourselves creates a block between us and somebody else. Because what the matrix has done that we're living in right now, it has seeded in us that somebody that is different is someone to be afraid of or someone to hate, right? So there's really, we see it with our government, like they are like children. It's like watching high school kids fight. It is absolutely ridiculous that these are the people running the nation, clearly across the board. I don't care what nation you're in. They're all children. They're all toxic. They are as crazy. And when you listen to them go at one another, oh my God, the House of Commons is the most frustrating thing to ever sit and watch in Canada, because they will ask them questions and they never answer the question. They just go around it. They just speak around it. And they'll be like, no, I want to know exactly how much money was spent here. And they are like, well, we did this. And it's like, but that's not even the same area. Like they're asking you about how much housing has increased, and you're talking about, but we created jobs. And well, no, you didn't. Right? Like that's how confusing it is. So it's, when I lost why I went into that spot. So I'm just going to drop that spot. It's not necessary. All right. But we're meant to bring the truth. We're meant to bring the truth, and we're going to do that, right? One step at a time. So there is a journal that is attached to this, and it includes a mantra, an embodiment practice, and a seal, plus 5 journal prompts that go along with today's show. That was weird calling it a show, but anyway, today's class or lesson or topic, sure. Your oversoul invocation for today is I am sacred. I am reborn in sacred flow. I am reborn in sacred flow. So that's your affirmation for today, or your invocation. I am reborn in sacred flow. And that's all that I had for education part of it. We can talk more about different things, and who knows where I'll get to with with my chatting. But if you have anything that you want to share or you want to talk about with that, I was going to grab my cards, but I can't remember where I put them. I'm like, which box did I put them in? But that's the fun of unpacking, right? Is figuring out where your stuff's at. I do have my one box, but it doesn't have the cards that I want in it. It has some older cards that I wasn't interested in using today. But do you have any questions? Do you have any topics that you'd like to have a class on? I mean, that's where the Sacred Union course came from, which is going to be now the 20th of June or beyond. It might be the 20th to the 23rd or the 20 in that range. It'll be started around that point in time to harness the energy of the solstice on June 20th. So yeah, you guys are quiet. This is supposed to be interactive. Help me out. I mean, YouTube's just being real quiet. YouTube's being really, really quiet. All righty. Well, if everybody's going to continue to be quiet, nobody has any questions, and I've covered all the topic stuff, and without having a point of spot to go in to continue, aha. Oh, you just don't resonate anymore. They just stop appearing in your life. As and if you're talking about, so for me, it's about boundaries, right? And it's about the energy. Now, if somebody has a difference of opinion or a different viewpoint than you, that doesn't mean that they aren't allowed to be in your life. Or if they're, stuck in the 3D, you don't have to eliminate them from your life. It's all in what they are doing to you or how they are affecting you, right? So if the energy is not being drained, if you're not feeling drained from the energy, or you're not feeling suppressed through what they're doing or what they're bringing, or they're not trying to, drag you down back into a certain space. As long as they're not doing that, you can have, you can have them as a part of your life. You don't have to remove them from your life. It's really in how you are feeling and what they're trying to accomplish with you, right? So, but for the most part, what ends up happening is we just stop resonating, because they stop hearing they stop hearing what you're saying, and you stop being able to really talk or communicate effectively with one another. Sometimes that results in having way more incidences of miscommunication, and where they might end up with like conflict and stuff. And as those things start to rise, then that's an indication that is meant to leave, and just allow it to leave, right? Just allow them to leave. There's so much now, right now, there's so many of us that, really it's the people that we have on the internet that we're connected to. And there's a reason for that, right? We chose the spaces to wake up in because we needed to have that energy set all over the place, right? And yeah, I don't like talking small talk. Like, I don't want to sit there and talk about the weather or, whatever. I like, and I don't want to gossip. I don't want to, talk bad about other people. I would want to do things that are creative, or, things like that. Hi, Jessica. How are you? So yeah, it's, you stop resonating with them, and eventually they just phase out of your life. They just fade away, and you just no longer interact with them. Have a nice day too, love. You just stop interacting with them. And I've seen it sometimes. So for me, if I feel in my body, and I've done that recently, where I've had somebody, friend from somebody that I knew from public school, and also for briefly during high school, but hadn't actually physically hung out with this person in many, many years. Like the last time I saw that person, I would have been a teenager. And, they start talking to me again. And then, I'm wanting to, call me on the phone, and, texting, and, connecting through Facebook Messenger and stuff like that. And I felt very much with the energy, like they were like taking from me. And it was just a lot. Right. And I was like, I don't like the way that makes me feel. And so I ended up telling them that, it's just, I'm no offense, but we're not actually friends. I'm not the same person I was in high school, not even freaking close. I'm not the same person I was 5 years ago, let alone 6 months ago. Like, we don't know each other anymore. Just because we went to public school and a little bit of time in high school doesn't mean that we're friends today. And they, that's how they felt. But I have other people who I've known for a long time, and they're different people. They're not necessarily as awake as I am, or on the same path as I am. But when I interact with them, I don't feel that pull or that ickiness in my energetic field. So that's why it's important to understand your energy, your truth, and your feel into your body and feel what's coming up for you. If it's constricting you, if it feels anxiety, like scary, if it feels confusing, if it feels heavy, those are not aligned with God. Those are not aligned with, and I don't mean God as a Bible God. Okay. That's not my God is not the Bible God. It's my God. My God is the true God, the creator of all. Did that answer your question? Did that cover it? Just see the freaking mosquito bites I have on me. I probably have like 20. I really went to town with my stuff for it. You're welcome. So you have to be willing to not have certain things compromised. Don't compromise your energetic field. Don't compromise your integrity, right? So if somebody is trying to suppress you or is trying to walk you backwards, to try to bring you back to who you used to be, who's trying to stop you from growth or stop you from your expansion, or distort you from your truth, then they're probably not somebody that you should allow in your life, or you should limit the amount that they have exposure to you. And that's a big thing that we have to start doing. We have to start looking at it like, how much exposure should I give these people to me? I think I need to drink more water. A little bit dry. Anybody else have any questions? Or have any stuff that you want to talk about in the sense of ascension or healing? Either one. Actually, you can ask me any question you want. I reserve the right to answer them. I can choose. Sometimes people ask silly questions. We don't want none of that. You're all good? You're all good in the hood? If you're all good in the hood, then I'm going to head on my merry little way, and we will see you guys on Thursday. I know it's been quiet like that. I have other people saying the same thing. Other people saying the exact same thing. It's not just me on mine, right? It's just we're in a void right now. And this is the womb. This is the womb in which we are to be creating things, right? But I have lots of education that I'm going to be doing today for my membership groups. I have an education that I'm dropping for both the Guardian Pathway and the Christic Mastery Circle. So if your goal is to live the truth and ascend and return, to ascend, and you consider yourself to be a light being, a light worker, a star seed, the chosen one, then I'm the person for you. And my site is the place for you. And the membership groups are absolutely something that you should check out. The content, the activations, the invocations, the meditations, the sound bites, the journals, everything that gets created in those groups, plus the discounts that you get to any educational stuff that I put on, like the events that I put on. It's well worth it to join those groups. The most expensive group I have is $44.44, but you get 3 groups for that price because you get the Christic Mastery Circle plus the Guardian Pathway and then the Ascension Gateway, because it's a tiered group. The next highest is the Oracle Chamber. Is Stillwater's Temple for the inner voice, which is a soft space to heal. There's transmissions, there's journal prompts. There are lots of beautiful things within that group as well. There's the Oracle Chamber, which is $22.22. There's the there's the Oracle Chambers $22.22, and the Guardian Pathway is $22.22. The Oracle Chamber is a lot of prophetic stuff. It gets new moon, full moon, and there's posts during the moon phases. There's planetary check-ins, all kinds of stuff within that space. And so if you're somebody that's into mediumship or into intuition and channeled messages, that would be a good space for you. The Ascension Gateway is the lowest price group that I have, which is 1111. In that group, you don't get any lives with me or any, you get education that's in there. That is recorded education. You get early access to the Truth Will Set You Free, Hidden Earth podcast, like all of those podcasts. And if you're on your path to, you know, like you're starting your you're in your, you know, you're somebody who is providing services to somebody else, healing services, awakening services, and things like that. If you're a coach, a healer, you know, whatever, and you feel like you're not quite in alignment, definitely come and check out the soul alignment sessions that I have. They're beautiful sessions. You can also check out my, you can cheer me on easily. You just followed me. See my friends here? They follow me and they show up to my lives and watch my lives. I don't have to follow back for you to follow me or for you to join my lives or for you to support me or for you to cheer me. That's wrong. I don't have to do that. I don't have to follow somebody for them to do that. That's not the way that TikTok works. It doesn't, you don't have to have a follow back for people to watch your live or to support you or to gift you or any of that. So anyone that comes in and asks me that I have to follow them back for them to support me, wrong. Hi, Blue Healer. How are you? How are things going for you? How are things going? Or I hope things are going well for you. I hope that you're abundant and, you know, like you're not having any slowdowns or anything like that. I feel like maybe went on by. So that's that. You've got all those groups. You've got all that education. There's books there. There's a book that's called The Divergent Code, which would be really great if you're someone that has that experiences ADHD or neurospiciness. Neurospiciness. It's a great book for that. It has lots of every chapter has practical exercises for you to do, which can help you with some of the symptoms of ADHD. Although I really believe that people that have ADHD are the real, it's the real way that you're meant to process information. The neurotypical is unfortunately not, like it's more created by the matrix and the way that they would like us to behave. Very linear. So there's that book there. And I'm going to be putting up my depression book. I have 2 books that are publishing on the solstice this month. The 3rd book in the Unlikely Heroine Chronicles, which is Soraya Teaches a Wolf to Meditate. So that's a great book if you have young children and you want them to read these beautiful little stories that take you on adventures with mythical creatures. There are 4 girls, Tiana, Parisa, Soraya, and Mariah. And you get new books on each of these solstice or equinoxes. Parisa is the spring equinox. Soraya is the summer solstice. Mariah is the fall equinox, and Tiana is the winter solstice. So that's when they're published. I also have a beautiful book for adults, and I'm going to actually pull it up on my Canva because then I can give you a little preview right here, right now. It's a beautiful book. I can't wait for this one to be out. It's a love letter to the earth. It would really be my love letter to the earth. I create a lot of things. I didn't realize I'd have to scroll this far. So the book is called The Voice That Remembers the Earth. And it is, and I'm definitely got to make that, zoom that. It's very much too small for me to read. Okay. So an example of the book, I'll read the opening page. And it's called The Silence Before the Song. Before the earth was fractured, she sang, not in words, not in concepts, but in tones. She pulsed like a heart with the breath of stars, and the waters danced in rhythms now forgotten. The mountains spoke to the sky. The trees hummed lullabies to the wind. and every being knew how to listen. Then came the forgetting. Now a voice is rising again, the voice that remembers the earth. And you, beloved reader, are a part of that remembering. So I'm so excited about this book. It's a beautiful book. It really is my love letter to the earth. And every chapter you get a little intro that has that kind of thing. So a poem, I guess I would call it, a little bit of a poem. And then you get the chapter text, and then you get a teaching, and then you get a practice for each of the chapters. So it's a beautiful, beautiful book that I'm happy to release. And again, it'll be available on Amazon.com starting on the 20th of June. So do look for that if that's something that interests you. But it is a very beautiful love letter to the earth, a voice of remembering, the voice that remembers the earth. So remember that. Yeah, lots of stuff going on at the site. So if you're interested in those types of things, I still have soul letters available, and Oracle voice notes. If you're wondering, like for some of us, we connect really easily to our higher self. We connect really easily to our guides, and we hear them very clearly, and we know that it's our higher self or it's our guide speaking. For many of us, we don't, though. We're maybe not completely clear, or it comes to us in symbols and sounds and feelings and resonance, but it's not really clear, right? It's not like you're reading a paragraph written from your higher self or from your oversoul that is telling you those things, or a direct channel from your guide. So what I do in these soul notes and in these oracle notes. Oh, is there anything? I just wish I'd woke up sooner. Things moving or falling. Let them fall away. Right? To the truth, to remembering who and what I am and the truth of everything. Right? I was like everybody else, we forgot, right? We came through the veil and we forgot. And the whole part of everything that we're here to do is to remember and to bring that remembering back to the world, right? It's the voice, it's all of it is to remember, right? And to embody the truth. That's all we're meant to do. So like I did as an example today, right? When we talk about embodying the truth, it's this simple. Let's say Putin, who recently was talking about the fact that Soylent Green is true. And so I don't know if you watch Soylent Green. I didn't, because I don't watch TV, but I know what Soylent Green is from, being talked about on TikTok or here and there and everywhere, right? You get a little bit of an introduction to what Soylent Green is. And it's the concept that they're ground up human and, other bits and a paste, and it's fed to people. So Putin came out and said it's true. And so in our fast food, it's coming out that our fast food has human DNA in it. They've done testing on fast food chains and found human DNA in it. So once you know that truth, you have to embody that truth. And embodying that truth means you don't go and eat fast food. You just don't, because you're not eating humans. We're not meant to eat each other. We're not meant to eat human meat. We're not. So knowing the truth, you're meant to embody it. That's what we're here to do. We're here to know the truth, to learn, to remember. And it's about remembering your truth and then embodying it. That's what it's all about. And that's what I'm all about. I'm a seeker of the truth, and I speak the truth, and I teach the truth, and I embody the truth. Right? When I say things like sharing is caring, right? It's because I share too. If it's, if it's just the way that it works, that it goes. As an example. Ooh, did you guys want a little preview of the other book, of the Divergence Code that I have? Because that book is available on my website as an ebook. It's not a book that's available on Amazon. You can only get it as an ebook from my website. There's going to be a depression book the same as this one here. I've already written it and got it ready. I just have to upload it to the site and do the pricing on it and the advertisement for it. So the Divergence Code, Unlocking the Divine Truth About ADHD and Neurodivergent Souls. What if ADHD is not a disorder, but a divine divergence from a broken world? The Divergence Code reframes neurodivergence as a sacred soul blueprint. This is a frequency key for the new earth architects, the star seeds, and the misfits here to rebuild reality. You were never broken, you were encoded. The blessing of the divergent soul. Beloved divergent one, you are encoded with sacred patterns that cannot be mapped by systems made in fear. Your mind is a constellation. Your heart is a tuning fork for other realms. You carry the architecture of the new earth. In the way you feel, sense, move, and remember, I now speak this blessing into the marrow of your being. May the noise of untruth fall away. May your brilliance rise. May the divine pattern within you activate and ripple outward in waves of liberation. You are not here to conform. You are here to restore, and we see you now. In the name of Sharia and Lorian, the truth is sealed. And so we begin. In the name of divine truth, divine love, and the original Christic design, it is time to remember who you truly are. And that's the start of the book. And then it goes into talking about neurodivergence and all about reminding or remembering, right? It's all about remembrance. So that book is available on my website if you're interested in that. Because you guys are special. The divergent, it's the way we should be seeing things. We're meant to break the mold. We're meant to stand apart. We're meant to do things differently. We're meant to call out that's not the way that it should be. That's not the truth. That's not the right way. That doesn't support people. That, we would be, if we were fully in our space, we would talk telepathically, which is something that many nonverbal or low verbal neurodivergents are. They speak telepathically, right? The telepathy tapes talks all about that. So that's a great podcast if you want to go and listen to that. It's available on YouTube, and I think it's even available on probably Spotify, but I was going to say that it's available on Amazon, like on the ebook, like, because on my Audible, there we go, Audible. It's available on Audible as well. So you can go check those things out. Well, I love you guys. I have a beautiful house with a lot of green grass and trees and birds and all kinds of stuff. So if there's no other questions or other spaces that you want to take the conversation into, I'm going to hop off of here and I'm going to go and do creative things or do loving things. I love you. I love you. I love you. I miss you guys as well. It was quite a bit of us hanging out just about every day together. So it's been a shift for sure. If you're a part of the Guardian Pathway or the Christic Mastery Circle, there will be new education in both of those today that I'll be dropping. So check those out. Check out the free membership group that I have, the Temple of Light, on my website, and grab the companion journal for this particular episode and all the episodes, all the live episodes, and allow yourself to integrate the information that I shared today in a more, in a deeper way. And I'll see you here on Thursday. Today's Tuesday. I'll see you here on Thursday again at 11 a.m. I love you. Have a beautiful day. And thank you for your attendance. Thank you for your attention, your awareness, your participation. There we go. I got stuck in a chain of A's. Thank you for your participation today. Thank you. I love you guys. Love you too. Have a beautiful day. And we'll see you here on Thursday. Bye, guys.